Alright class, so today I want to introduce you to what I call the ARCH method, and it's just a simple way to organize your thoughts when it comes time to put together a response to an AP prompt. This works best with question 1, which is the synthesis essay, or even question 2, which is the analysis essay. This is an example. My exemplar here is from a question 2 or analysis prompt, but I just wanted to go over the features of the ARCH method so that way you understand what's going on here. And again, just so long you have a method, that's what I'm looking for. You don't have to have this particular method, but it's a good place to get you thinking about what's going to be your method. What are you going to do to organize your thoughts to make sure that you're answering the prompt and covering all the information you need? So the ARCH method, again, is just a way to answer the question of what is the author doing or how is he or she doing it. And while this comes into play a lot with the analysis question, even with our synthesis question, when it comes time to take a position, we need to begin to evaluate the sources. And so this works for us. So for the synthesis question, and we will work with some examples tomorrow in class, I want you to consider that up top here, where we see this, your ideas / thinking here, I want you to consider this for the synthesis, where you would place your thesis. And so your overall, what stance are you taking, what position are you going to be exploring, whether you're going to refute, agree, or qualify, would go here. And this is going to be based on, ultimately, what you place in this section here under the arch. We call it the ARCH method because, as you can see, there's an arch going over. And what goes in the arch here is exactly what's being asked of you. So if the question is asking you to evaluate a position, or if it's asking you to consider eliminating a process, like eliminating the use of the penny, you would want to make sure that you write it in here so that way you do not forget what it is that you're supposed to be speaking about. So that way, when it comes time to answer the prompt, you don't miss anything. You actually cover all your bases. And so once you figure out exactly what you need to answer, that's when you can start to figure out what supporting documentation you have to do so. So really, when we think about steps, figuring out what's under the arch is definitely rule number 1. What is it that I'm being asked to do? Once you've figured that out, that's when you go into the how. And if you notice down here, this is going to be definitely our step number 2. How is where we figure out, 1, what is it from the prompt that's being asked of us to consider. So if it's asking us to agree or qualify, this is exactly where we would put that. So we would know what our options are. And again, if you notice here, it says from the prompt. What is it that's going on in the prompt that's allowing us to either agree, disagree, or qualify? Secondly, what we want to do is, from our own observations of the material, we want to figure out what's going on either in the essay or in the supporting documents that's supporting our claim. So if, say, for instance, we have 7 sources, what our observations are down here are from those sources. And so we want to list the sources and then talk about how it is we're going to use them. And that's going to further develop not only what our stance is, but how we're going to prove that stance. So once we've figured that out and we understand how we're going to use our documentation and what stance we're going to take based on what the prompt is asking us to do, that's when we finally begin to think about exactly what it is that we want to say as far as a claim. And that's your number 3. So the arch really is set up in these 3 steps of what am I being asked? What position can I take and how can I prove that? And finally, what position will I take? And so this is just a way to organize all of these thoughts and put them together in this nice compact unit that you can come back to as you read through. And so if you look at over here on the side, we have this link the how to the what. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to say how we begin to organize our information and link it to our thesis. Because remember, how is, again, what we have. What we have. And the what, again, is how it relates to our thesis. And so we need to begin to create links between our support and what our thesis says. So if our thesis says we need to eliminate the penny, then what we do is we link our how. And one of our hows may be a congressional report talking about how much money is wasted producing pennies. And so that information can be used to show that there is a build between how much it costs to create a penny and the fact that we need to eliminate it. And so, or this evidence proves that the penny is outdated. And so we need to begin to make those links. As we move into essay 2, the analysis essay will see how this arch method really begins to help us analyze a piece. But even for now, this may be an option for us in regards to putting things on the page, being able to reference it over and over and over again throughout our writing, so that way we make sure we're answering the prompt and giving proper support and documentation. So hopefully this gives you just a nice little intro. I just wanted to introduce you to it. We will do more with it in class, but I wanted you to come in with a working knowledge, and because of that, I wanted you to understand the elements of, and we'll again go over this more in class tomorrow. So thanks for listening, and I will see you in class tomorrow.